Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is episode 42. I want to say 32 for some reason. Anyways, today is also really, part 12 of the lease options series. At the same time, it is part 2 of the case study, and we're new on where we left off in the previous episode. And in the previous episode, we actually went through some considerations, and thank you for sending in the details and more information on the deal, really. And I realized that yesterday there was a bit of a miscommunication, and this is why it's always good to actually clarify things. And so we're going to quickly go over what this spreadsheet will look like. And at this point, the biggest clarification that was needed was the current purchase price is $650,000, not the option to purchase price, okay? And so as you can see, the return on investment as advertised is about 74% on an annual basis. And the total option consideration is 11.96%, just shy of 12. So in the email, it did say 12% as they rounded up the number. For most of us, we want to be as clear as possible. Usually I would round it to the second decimal place, and let's keep going. Right now, as predicted, in the spreadsheet that they have presented you with, and remember, this is a deal that one of you sent to me, you know who you are. And so all I'm doing here is making sure that we comb through the numbers, gave you some consideration points in the previous episodes already. Today, there's going to be a little bit more too. And really, the final question is, would you do this deal if this opportunity landed on your desk? And so let's continue. As predicted, they used the maximum value on a rental property or a non-primary residence property in Canada, which is 80% loan to value, which, as mentioned before, is actually good, simply because of the fact that in a lot of different countries that we've invested into, once you're going into the rental property territory, it is usually a much lower loan to value, meaning a higher down payment or a higher deposit up front, meaning way more cash outlay in the beginning. Okay. And so the more cash outlay, typically speaking, the smaller the return on investment, meaning your money is likely not working as hard for you. Okay, and so let's go into the initial investment section here. 20% on a $650,000 purchase price is $130,000 upfront. For legal fees, they did budget $2,500. I would just be really curious to find out if that is actually the going rate, because I do find that to be a little bit on the higher end when it comes to purchasing a single family home in any market in Canada at the moment. And the funny thing here also is that appraisal and inspection is a combined amount as presented or as advertised at $500. For a property like this, and we've learned that this is a single family detached, very typical with a fenced-in backyard, and at $500, I do find that to be a little on the lower end, even if the mortgage company is fronting the appraisal fee. Okay, so personally, I would probably bring it up a little bit. At the same time, I want to just make sure that everybody's on the same about this deal first as advertised, then we go in and put our own thought process, our own commentary, and our own business decisions into the mix. Okay, and then there is a little column that says insurance premium. I'm not exactly sure what that means. So this is definitely one of the questions that I would go back to the people that are advertising this deal to you to find out exactly what they mean by insurance premium. And more importantly, why is it falling under the initial investment section? Okay, and land transfer tax on this property, $9,475, and they are also charging a referral fee, assuming that you will be taking the deal over completely. I'm thinking. However, there is one section below that we can discuss further about this as well. And even though they are in Ontario, technically speaking, the HST, homogenized sales tax, is 13% in that province. They are saying $6,000 is all in. So there's no tax implication. So the final amount on wholesale placement or referral fee in this case is $6,000 and less the initial option consideration. And this is where it numbers quite attractive when it comes to return on investment, simply because of the fact that they came up with a very, very large amount of initial option. And that means, relatively speaking, the initial investment in total is a lot lower. So it's really unusual, to be completely frank, in my opinion, these days, that somebody is coming up with this amount. And if I remember correctly, based on the deal as advertised, they were saying they're a working couple and the husband is working as a truck driver, making about $80,000 a year. And the wife is working, I don't remember exactly the job. I think it was some sort of a lingo or abbreviation there. And let me just quickly pull this up here. The wife is working, but I don't know where that is. And again, at the risk of being a little bit revealing, I will just share the fact that the wife supposedly also makes about $80,000 a year. The credit scores are both decent, with the husband being in the mid 830s. That's really, really, really high. So usually, if an investor or a professional investor, that's actually a good number for you. And the wife's credit score is in the high 610s. So I'm going to guess that, again, the credit score for her is probably one of the deterrents. However, overall speaking, it doesn't look like that big of a deterrent. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to guess that from an income credit down payment perspective, it could be dead low. That's a little high. And in the email that you've shared with me as advertised, there's nothing listing out why the actually need to go through a lease option program to become homeowners. So that is definitely a huge, huge question that I would pose to the seller of the deal. And so let's continue on. Profit from sale and transfer. They budgeted in 5% increase year after year from an appreciation standpoint. I just want to remind everybody that generally speaking, unless you're in the Alberta market and most other markets right now across the Canadian markets, it is on a downward trajectory, or it's kind of holding steady right now, depending on supply and demand. However, because of interest rate increases, really the buyer pools are small and there's not a lot of movement, and that's actually based on supply and demand. That's really the main reason why value is still holding and not plummeting too much yet. But I would just be very, very careful with that, simply because of the fact that it may not be as rosy as what we've seen in the last 3 to 5 years in the Ontario market. However, coming back here, we're looking at 752,456. So I'm going to assume that the tenant buyers are already pre-qualified for that amount. That is definitely a huge question mark right there, as there was no mention about what they're pre-qualified for, how pre-qualify, and why they need a rent to own or a lease option to become homeowners. And at the moment, we are forecasting 5.89% over 30 years, which is pretty standard at the moment. And legal costs at closing is only $1,000. Again, legal costs at closing up front when we are buying it seems a little high. This seems a little low to me. However, I guess all in all, it kind of works out to be the $3,500 in and out for legal expenses. So I'm not gonna really dwell on that too much, as long as you understand there might be some differences and discrepancies, okay? And so initial investment is already pre-filled in, and they're also offering management. So 3 times per year, they will do the property inspection, and each time $100. So I guess this is basically them saying, if you're an out-of-town, out of province, out of country investor, even though you want to buy the full deal out, which they're giving you the opportunity to, because they're also charging you the referral fee or the placement fee, and they're also offering you the opportunity to hire them for property inspections and walkthroughs 3 times a year. So then this is really based on your business decision and depends on where you are. If you actually live close to the market and you want to do these things yourself, then this line can definitely be eliminated. And the other thing really is that I would find out exactly how inspections are conducted, what kind of documentations are you going to receive, and so make sure that you're always asking for videos and pictures whenever somebody else is doing inspection for you. So this is not just for lease options, as you know. Remember, the previous topic, it was kind of going between raising funds and property management. And so when it comes to any type of property management, property inspection, property walkthroughs, you want to make sure that you get photo and video proofs, okay? Moving forward, assuming no mortgage penalty and initial consideration is credited back to them when they are qualified and choose to exercise their option to purchase, and there's no option consideration on a monthly basis. I would do otherwise. However, I'll go back into that in a little bit. So total profit from sale and transfer is $102,102. Beautiful number, 102, 102. And average fair market rent right now, or the fair market that they are proposing to charge, is $4,600. I would definitely ask for proof to substantiate that number, and that way there's no surprises later when it comes to the financing process, because a lot of lenders, they do want you to be able to back up your assumptions here. First mortgage as a result is about $3,057.41 on a monthly basis. And property tax is estimated at $6,000 a year, and as a result, $500 per month. And insurance, $200 a month on the higher end. However, I, as you remember, when it comes to expenses, like to overestimate. So I'm totally okay leaving it there. And as a result, this is what was discussed in the previous episode. On a monthly basis, the cash flow is about $843 as advertised, when it's really $842.59. So let's go back to the summary again. 3-year rent, own, or lease option program. Total profit for the investor is $132,435.24, resulting in 74.22% return on investment. I would say, based on numbers so far as presented and as advertised, very, very strong numbers, and I do like it. However, remember, the strength of your lease option deal is really the strength of your tenant buyers. So even though on paper, they seem like the perfect couple, and also I found out that they have one child, I would always ask, are they planning to have a second? Is the family growing? Why are they buying this house? Why this house in particular? And they did not qualify for traditional lending if they look so good on paper at the moment. So as a result, coming back here now, like I mentioned, I would actually build in my own considerations and stress test my own deal for a little bit, okay? So assuming that today, first of all, we buy the property at $650,000, remember, that means at the very, very least, the comp or the CMA for this property right now needs to come in at $650,000 minimum, okay? So that you at least have some sort of money in the buy. Even though with this particular strategy, if you remember, going all the way back to season 3, episode 31, maybe it's not 100% necessary. However, the general rule still applies whenever you are able to apply it. Okay, because this is not a proper strategy. At the same time, it doesn't hurt, as you can see. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to power up my Canadian mortgage app, the one that we've been using. And I'm going to change our numbers a little bit. Instead of 80% loan to value, I'm going to change it to 75% loan to value. And as a result, 25% down payment. Okay, 25% down payment. And so when we get back into the mortgage app, we will punch in the new purchase price, which is the home price area, and then 25% down. As a result, we see mortgage amount $487,500, which they match between the app and the spreadsheet. So we're good there. That means a little bit of higher down payment. I would change my initial fee to $2,000 right now. And appraisal and inspection, until I get a solid answer, I would actually bring it up to about $1,200 right now just to stress test my own deal. Again, insurance premium, not quite sure what that is. However, because it's an expense when in doubt, over budget it. So I'm going to leave that in for now. Okay. And so land transfer tax does not change because our current purchase price has not changed whatsoever. Also, referral fee, I will probably budget in to pay taxes just in case, okay? So as a result, this is basically 6,000, because the reason why I say just in case is because perhaps there was a typo from their part or they forgot it. You never know. Again, because it's an expense, I would actually add in the taxes first foremost. So as a result, you can see how my total initial investment has already changed. And let's continue on. So at this point, $650,000 at 5%, you can see how they got to the $752,456 purchase price. So I'm going to do 650 multiplied by 1.05 3 times. Okay, so now I've confirmed that that's exactly how they got to the $752,456 option to purchase price. And so what I'm going to do is, again, assume at the end of the program, the market is not exactly where we want it to be. Again, I'm super grateful, as I keep saying this, that I really got to hone in on my investor instinct and invest mindset by living in a market that's very boom and bust and even sideways for a while. And so what I'll do is I am going to, instead of using 5%, I'm going to do 4.5 just to make a point to say that, you know what, it's not to be pessimistic, it's to remember to stress test the deal to make sure that everybody still wins at the end. Okay, so 650,000 times 1.045 3 times. Now we are at 741,579. So I'm going to do 580. Okay. Or hang on a second, 741,757. Sorry, 741,757. I'm going to do 760. That's what I meant. And coming back here now, looking at amortization, let's make sure that based on the rate, we put in 5.89%, okay, as what they have predicted. If you really want, you can also even put in 6%, okay? If you really want, you can put in 6%. And so as a result, we are really stress testing our own deals right now. So after 3 years, and we're also going to say, you know what, without it being 30 years, maybe let's do 25 years. Okay, let's do 25 years in amortization. And so what we have now, 3 years from now, is 49544. So 459, I'm going to do 550 instead of 544. Okay. And so moving forward, legal cost at closing, I'm going to change that to 1,500. And then initial investment is automatically calculated in. And I'm going to say that, again, I don't know what kind of requirements or what kind of system they have for their property inspections and walkthroughs. Perhaps what I'm looking for, what you're looking for, is a little bit more than what their standard practices are. So the more you ask them to do, the more that price will drive up. So instead of $100 per visit, what I'm going to do now is budget in $200 per visit. So effectively, we're doubling that amount for ourselves. Okay, so that way maybe you can sleep better at night. So $200, 3 visits per year. And for 3 years in a row, that works out to be 1,800. Now, coming down here, monthly option consideration, as I mentioned, I would still want them to get into the habit of paying that amount, paying some sort of monthly option. Again, from a contractual perspective, there is definitely a law more legal leg to stand on. So you can make it very, very, very tiny. Again, you can pick really even $1 would work in this particular case, in my opinion. However, if I were you, I would probably look at the cash flow and go, is there a specific amount that I would like to hit? So if you would like to at least achieve $900 in cash on a monthly basis, then that's a difference of about $58, which means on a monthly basis, you want to ask them for an additional $58. As a result now, total profit from sale transfer is $93,867. Still a pretty darn good day, wouldn't you say? You've helped somebody successfully achieve their dreams and goals of home ownership, and you've made cash flow for 3 years in a row, and now you get to pocket a check of almost $94,000 on that day. This is why, again, this strategy needs to be practiced and done well and right more in any markets, in my opinion. And so lease payments now, $4,600 is the fair market rent. And if you remember, total revenue really it's $4,658 now. And we're going to change the mortgage amount. Why? Because we actually changed the mortgage terms quite a bit. So right now on a monthly basis, payment is 3119.06. So easy to round up. So 3120 at this point. Now, all of a sudden, oh darn, our cash flow actually went down again because the mortgage went first. So at this point, you can decide if you want to go back and retweak it, because we were going through the sections first for sale, for profit at sale, instead of going into the monthly cash flow. So we actually still did not achieve our $900 a month goal. In this particular case, if this is something that you still want to accomplish, perhaps you want to add another $62 to it. So 62 plus 58 is 120 on a monthly basis. So there you have it. On a monthly basis, you will be collecting 2 payments totaling $4,720. And after deducting all the expenses, we are saying 900. Now, some of you might even go, hang on a second, my inspection, if I want to put that money away on a monthly basis, I can do that. So instead of $1,800 up here, you can also budget it down here. It just completely depends on your own business decision and what you prefer. Because if you budget it in base as your monthly operating expenses, it's really straightforward, okay? $1,800 divided by 36 months. That's $50 on a monthly basis. And once again, you're back down to $850 cash flow. However, if you are looking at line 33 that I've just highlighted for you, here you basically can zero out once again. So that really just means that you put a little bit more money in your pocket at the end of the day, okay? When you're closing the deal, and on a monthly basis, you take a little less. Just depends on how you want to look at it. However, honestly, if I were you, I actually put it in the monthly cash flow section, simply because of the fact that every 3 months, or every 4 months in this particular case, this expense will incur. And again, it may not actually be perfectly every 3 or 4 months in this case, because theoretically speaking, you probably wouldn't be doing a property walkthrough or an inspection 3 months to option to purchase date, okay? So again, those 9 inspections as budgeted and as advertised could be scattered throughout depending on the schedule that you will work out with the people that are selling you the deal, that are offering this service. So all in all, if this was me, I would do this deal, definitely. Granted, all the questions that I posed are answered, and the answers are satisfactory and fits my business goal. So hopefully that helped a bit. And this effectively will wrap up the entire lease options subject for season 3. I know this is the longest, literally, I have actually spent on this particular topic, 12 episodes. So if you missed any of them, or better yet, just simply go back at least starting from episode 31 this season, so that you can actually follow along, and there are no missing dots. Okay, so on that note, if you want to learn more about any strategies in particular, especially multifamilies, lease options, wholesale and assignment, asset protection, creative financing, distressed properties, and more, we are running our next 2-day life workshop in Toronto, July 15th and 16th, and the seating's limited. And just checked with the hotel. All the other rooms are actually booked at this point, so seating's limited, and we do have a few more seats left right now. I'm going to put that in the comment section so that you are able to take advantage of our buy one, get one offer right now. And so if you want something more constant, if you want something that's gonna get you off your assets and start applying and take action, this is the event that you want to go to. And to my Canadian friends, happy first day back after the long weekend. And to my American friends, happy 4th of July. Enjoy your day one way or another. I will see you back here with a new topic, new subject at the next episode. Live well, everybody.